Call of Duty Warzone was originally released on March 10, 2020. Over the past year and a half, it has gone through many changes, both good and bad. On December 9, 2021, we said goodbye to Verdansk and hello to Caldera with Warzone Pacific. Did the update live up to the hype? Has Raven taken a shot at solving the major problems of the game? And most importantly, is Warzone worth your time? Let's drop in and find out. The COD sandbox has never been more expansive than in Warzone, with over 100 weapons and more to come, stemming from Modern Warfare, Black Ops Cold War and Vanguard. There is always something to suit every situation. Each gun is extensively customizable and feels great to shoot. Movement is pulled directly from Modern Warfare, allowing you to run, vault and parkour your way around once you learn the routes. This movement allows for creative flank options if you know the area. Caldera is also a great refresh over Verdansk. Points of interest are more diverse than ever before, offering fights that are more varied. You have everything from jungle ruins to shipyards to wide open mines and a condensed city. The major choke points of Verdansk are also seldom found, and for those that like a more close quarters map, Rebirth Island stuck around for a second year. Ricochet Anti-Cheat has also been a massive success so far. Before the Pacific update, I would find a cheater almost every other game, and it was demoralizing. I'd groan when I'd get the text from my friends to hop on Warzone for the night. Since the update, I have ran into 0 cheaters. This issue was a plague upon Warzone in the past, and it feels amazing to finally have a solid solution. You have your classic battle royale, which encompasses the entire sandbox, and allows for solo, duos, trios, and quads. Currently, there is also Vanguard Royale, which limits the match to Vanguard exclusive kits so you can experiment with the new stuff. Resurgence on Caldera and Rebirth offers a faster paced alternative to standard Battle Royale, and is my personal preferred way to play. Then there's Plunder, a respawn game mode where players are tasked with collecting cash, but instead opt to collect weapon XP. Limited time modes are added with each new season, and everything is on a weekly rotation to keep the game fresh. At least that is the intent. Warzone is everything a COD fan could have wanted 5 years ago. A multi-year COD game on a massive scale. Unfortunately, we seem to have wished on a monkey's paw, and everything great about the game has a counter that brings it down. Weapon diversity is an issue that keeps coming back in different forms. With over 100 weapons, not everything has a niche, and keeping up with an ever-changing meta is more of a chore than an integrated experience. It seems that every season brings a new broken gun, and this imbalance can take weeks to patch. The DMR, FFAR, and more recently, the double barreled shotguns are notorious for this. Sure, it is fun to use these powerful weapons, but the variety of the game is sapped away, with every weapon having around 70 levels to progress to unlock everything. Why would you opt to level up something that isn't the current meta? You cannot directly choose the modes you want to play. Are you a trio of friends that love Rebirth Island Resurgence, and only that? Well, get ready to enjoy your preferred experience 1 week out of every month. It is absolutely important to push players to try out new modes outside of their comfort zone, but playing with randoms to fill a squad can be a frustrating experience. There is, however, a party find feature to help with this issue. But the biggest thing that is pulling this game apart is a severe lack of polish. We ran into so many bugs when playing. Infinite pre-game lobbies, party members getting kicked at random, hard resets after loading into matches, invisible player skins, teammates not making it into games, connecting a headset switched my input method to keyboard and mouse and soft locked the game, packet burst, whatever this is, and major texture issues. We play on both Xbox Series S and PS5, and both platforms had these issues in spades. This lack of polish is inexcusable for a studio and publisher this large. Overall, the gunplay and movement feel great. They have been the core of this franchise for almost 20 years now, and with Warzone, everything has been turned up to the max. The map and mode variety is great, and this is a battle royale that stands out above the rest. But being at the whims of playlist updates and the sheer amount of bugs and crashes bring this game right down. Warzone has the potential to be the king of Battle Royale, but that potential is sorely wasted. When the game works correctly, it feels wonderful, our favourite Battle Royale by far, but often it feels held together by duct tape and string. and for this reason scores a middling 3 out of 5. Caldera is a major step up in art direction compared to Verdansk. There is finally some colour here, but the devs opted to have this weird hazy filter over everything. The whole map looks like it should pop with the colours of the Pacific, but everything feels washed out. Rebirth Island looks great in the brightness, but is again marred by haziness. It makes seeing and tracking enemies difficult. To Raven's credit, interior lighting has been worked on in a great way. Your enemies will find it much harder to hide in dark corners. Good stuff. Guns look great, with great textures, sounds and animations, especially the Modern Warfare weapons. As with gameplay, the detriment here are the graphical bugs. This weapon bug makes the game unplayable, and let it sink in that this shipped. Look at this, it is awful. The music here is serviceable, the lobby track and game music do a good job at setting the mood, but they do feel fairly generic. There have been some steps up in art direction with Warzone Pacific, but odd choices that serve as a detriment to gameplay and major bugs land the art direction here a 2 out of 5. Over the past year and a half, Warzone has attempted to keep a coherent story. For Modern Warfare seasons, we had a variety of factions vying for control of Verdansk. This all ended with the destruction of a zombie-infested Verdansk and a fling back in time to 1984. Cold War saw Perseus agents causing havoc in Verdansk, and the boys in blue trying to stop it, all culminating in Verdansk crumbling. Warzone Pacific continues the story via story time with Captain Butcher. The story here isn't very coherent and is very much an "and then this happened" story, but there is some thought going into the story each season, and a little bit of context does go a long way to tie all of this together. With a perfectly serviceable narrative, Warzone Pacific earns itself a 3 out of 5. You are getting a lot with this free package. There are over 100 weapons to play around with, all with massive amounts of customization options. There are unlockable camos, a battle pass to progress through, although that is a paid feature. There are a lot of varied game modes if you aren't too fussy on what you're wanting to play. Warzone does offer a great variety, and there's plenty of reason we're all still playing. There are even some practice modes to get you familiar with the mechanics. Major seasonal updates occur every 2 months, with mid-season updates at the halfway point. These seasons add new weapons, challenges, map changes and game modes. There's limited time events that switch up the game, and overall, Raven do give you a reason to keep coming back. But yet again, everything here is marred by lack of polish upon launch. I've criticised the game a lot over the course of this review, but what I cannot fault is the settings available here. As is pretty standard with big budget releases, you can choose between controller and keyboard and mouse settings. You can also use keyboard and mouse on console, which is nice. Settings here include plenty of options for button presets, stick presets, look invert, dead zones for each stick, sensitivity, including a separate slider for when your gun is aimed, and even more separate sliders for each zoom of optic on top of that. You can change your aim, response curve, and enable or disable controller vibration. Weapons have their own settings, including aim assist presets, mount control options, toggle versus hold down for aim down sights, sniper steady aim, and equipment usage. Reloads can be set to tap, hold, or the contextual tap, which makes tapping the button prioritize picking up an item over reloading, with the option to hold the button to reload for a guaranteed reload. This is a really cool feature once you get the hang of it. You can set weapons to auto swap when you run out of ammo and decide how you want armor plate insertion to behave. Finally, in this section, there are movement options. You can set slide controls, automatic move forward, tactical sprint controls, and automatic sprint. Vehicle camera recentering and parachute auto deploy are also toggleable here. You can't rebind controller options to whatever you feel like here, but the sheer amount of controller presets and further options is commendable. Keyboard and mouse users can rebind keys to their liking. Graphics settings are on the lighter side, but still offer some great options. You can tweak safe area, camera shake, although you can't fully turn this down. World and weapon motion blur have separate toggles, and film grain has a full slider. You can turn gore on or off, and alter brightness settings. There's also on-demand texture streaming, that aims to be more friendly on your hard drive while still providing a good looking game. You can turn texture streaming on or off, choose the quality of texture, and set data limits. Interface options include subtitles, language selection, and advanced options for colorblind presets. You can choose your minimap shape and if it rotates. Square is better for this as it gives you more coverage. You can toggle the compass and choose letters or numbers for cardinal directions. Kill feed and text chat duration can also be tweaked, with a profanity filter and message sound alert available for text chat. You can adjust how long text chat is shown on your screen or even totally disable it. There are also in-game alert icons for high latency variation, packet burst, and extrapolation. Audio has major presets, with the ability to tweak via sliders to your heart's content. You can adjust your hit marker sounds, whether music plays in the Juggernaut suits, war tracks volume, and the ability to play if you are a passenger. Voice chat can be enabled and disabled. You can adjust volume and mic input. There's also some fun voice effects if you like that sort of thing. You can turn crossplay off or on in the account menu, as well as activate streamer mode and link Activision accounts. Game installs can also be managed here. The only major omission here is an FOV slider on consoles. This is something we have been asking for since day one, and still haven't been given a solid reason for lack of implementation. Regardless, there is a lot of variety here, and a lot of settings to get your experience feeling just right. There's plenty of fun to be had alone or with friends, but a lack of polish keeps Warzone from getting a perfect score, and lands it a 4 out of 5 in the specs department. To put it plainly, Warzone, as a standalone product, has such little respect for your time and money that it's not even funny. Let's start with hard drive footprint. Warzone takes up a massive 88GB on our system. This size increases with each passing season, but it's not nearly as egregious as it used to be. Weapons each have up to 70 levels to progress through, and ranking them up in Warzone can be egregiously slow. Plunder has been turned into an XP grind, and the developers seem to be aware of this, as Plunder was exempt from the recent Double XP event. The fastest way to rank up your weapons is to pay up for the full-priced game that your favourite weapon is attached to. Raven does a good job at releasing balance patches, sometimes, but they are laden with stealth changes, and you can spend your limited time ranking up your favourite gun only to log in one day and find out that now it's completely different. And the only reason you know this is because JGod crunched the numbers that weren't in the patch notes. Broken weapons like the DMR, FFAR, and currently the double barreled shotguns can be live for weeks without getting patched. There is a battle pass that costs 1000 COD points for initial purchase, and if you complete it, you'll earn enough points to buy the next pass with a little bit left over. All game changing content like guns is always free and unlockable early in the pass. Good stuff. The store is ridiculous. Bundles range from 500 COD points all the way up to 3000, and you cannot pick and choose bundle items. It's all or nothing. Weapon blueprints look great until you change the attachments. COD Mobile has a feature that solves this issue, yet Warzone does not. New bundles come in at an almost daily pace, and it's all just too much. Warzone is a great game at its core, but with insane prices like these, a push to pay for the premium game if you want to use this month's broken weapon before it gets nerfed, and a severe lack of polish, it is extremely hard for newcomers to break through. Even as someone who has been playing for years, I feel overwhelmed, and the game sometimes feels like a chore rather than a fun escape. With its massive hard drive footprint and lack of respect for your time and money, Warzone earns itself our first ever minimum score of 1 on our commitment scale. Warzone is just barely worth your time. It is an extremely fun game at its core, but there are so many missteps here that detract from the experience. Our advice is to treat the game as a casual experience. Drop in, get some kills, get killed back, and don't take it too seriously. You'll thank us later.